Hello, everybody, and welcome to Trails in the Sky the Third. How are we all today? I hope everyone's having a good. Oh, shit. Oops. That's right. Yeah, it's fine. Well, last time we did a few more of the star doors. I think we did star doors 4 and 5, and 3, 4, and 5. So today we're gonna go from 6 to as far, and we did half of 6. So we're gonna go from the rest of 6 and go as far down as we can today. We won't get start off. We probably won't get to star door. Probably get about as far as star door 10 or 11, I think, today. But let's just jump right in. Dang it. And we go over here. Get him back up. Alright, and we charge forward. Good. And you go over here. You go there. Sit there. Alright. Craft, Soul Infusion. Very good. Grab another lighter. And oh, we get him back up. God dang it. Dang it. Soul Infusion on him. No. We are not doing well. Good. Very nice. And no level ups. Pretty good. There we go. And he leveled up, so he's at full strength again. Very nice. And then we go this way. And then we got this thing. Huh. Why is there a frozen rock in the middle of the path? I don't know. Doesn't look like anything special. That's a weird place for one to be. Once you're damaged, don't wander over the random crap when you don't know what it is. Whoa, it's moving! Maybe that warning was a little too late. Come on. Yay! They leveled up. Woohoo! Ugh, that scared the heck out of me. No doubt. Who would have thought a rock would turn into a monster? Well, maybe you wouldn't have been scared if you hadn't been such a dumbass. What was I just saying about dragging me down? Sorry, man. For the love of Adios. It goes for you too, Dean. You ever gonna grow out of being such a damn coward? Yeah, at this rate, we're not even gonna be able to get through here by sundown. Maybe it's time I cut the dead weight and went on by myself. Then go. What was that? You heard me. You're that determined to go by yourself, be my guest. You're the tough one here, right? You can handle everything in here by yourself, right? Why'd you want a bunch of weaklings like us around? Get moving, tough guy. Try saying that again. Besides, the only reason we're even here in this cave right now is because you thought this would be a good idea. I'm sick of it. Sure as hell don't want to be told I'm getting in the way by the guy who forced me into this crap. Come on, Rice. We're out of here. Yeah, I'm good with that. I know when I'm not needed. No point in hanging around after being told I'm dead weight. That's how it's gonna be, huh? See you never. Doesn't he ever get tired of keeping up that act 24/7? Who cares? He's on his own now. He can go get himself killed for all I care. We're going home. You think Rocco's still alright? He might be pretty strong, but the monsters in here are like way stronger than any one of us. Who cares? He was the one who said he wanted to go ahead on his own. He made his bed. Let him lie in it. Haven't seen one like this before. What is this creepy thing? Craft. Craft. Oh, dang it. crad. And we bring you back. Soul Infusion. And we go. Soul Infusion. Yay! We did it. Man, that was nasty. And Rocco's walking head alone in a place crawling with monsters just like that. Hey, Dean, I feel like this really ain't the time for us to be fighting each other and trying to act big. Hey, Race? Yeah? Have you ever seen Rocco show any sign of weakness before? Ever? Well, now that you mention it. No. Same here. He might be pretending he's strong all the time, but he never lets any sign of weakness slip, or whines like we do. He's always the one who's pushing us and trying to make us better ourselves. Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, if it wasn't for him, we really wouldn't be here. We'd still be loitering around back in ruin forever, probably. We can let all the deadweight stuff slide for this once. Maybe he pisses me off sometimes, but I ain't about to turn my back on him when he's always had ours. Damn straight. Friends. Oop. Do I have any? Yes, I do have one reviving bell. Heal him. Soul Infusion. Yay! That way. Very nice. Dang it. Come on. Dang it. I'm sucking right now. You. And we heal again. Game over. I screwed up. Should have dropped a heal. Soul Infusion. And he levels up. Wait, I'll put the item. I don't need to fight. Yo, Dean, that looks like him. You see him? What's that idiot doing? Ugh, damn it. What nerve. Looks like this is the end of the line for me. Rocker, isn't good. He's frozen. Can you handle it, Race? Sure thing. Ah. I can move. Heh, you're a real sorry sight, man. Sorry for keeping you waiting. What the hell are you guys doing here? I thought you bailed. Not like we came to bail you out. But we can talk later. We've got a fight on our hands. Fine. Just don't be where the thing is. Game over. Go over here. And Soul Infusion on here. Go around. Go up here. Go right there. Yay! And everybody leveled up, I think. Nope. I think only Greenhead dude leveled up. Dean. Good thing we made it in time. Seriously, you really bit off more than you could chew this time, Rocky. What are you two doing here? Why'd you come after me? Even without you guys, I could have handled that just... No, you couldn't, you dumbass. What was that? For once in your life, stop being so stubborn. If we hadn't come when we did, you would have been dead. You know it too. You just don't want to see it. What was that? Yeah, I guess I haven't got the right to be getting all angry. Sorry, man. Should have told you to go on. I shouldn't have told you to go on alone like I did. Might have said earlier that I was only trying to become aggressive because you pushed us into it. But I swear, that's not the only reason. There's no way I could have made it through all that insane training we got put through and not quit partway if that was the only reason. I would have thrown in the towel a long time ago if I wasn't serious about this. There we go. Now I've got my beverage. What he said. I'm just as serious about this as you are, you know. I know you're in a rush to try and be as tough as Agate and everything, and I can't blame you. But whether it's how you'd want things or not, the three of us are in this together. Wouldn't hurt to rely on us at least a little, would it? Alright, you got me. And I ain't no dumbass, Dean. I know my limits. You're probably right. I was just in so much of a rush to try and narrow the gap between us that I lost sight of myself. Okay. But that last fight was enough to open my eyes. I'm not up for the task of getting through this place alone. I know now that I need you guys with me every step of the way. So sorry. Would you two let me stick with you again? Yeah, come on. Really? As if you even need to ask. Thanks. What's gotten into you two? Anyone look at you two now and thinks mooching and wedding bells are in your future? You've made up, so make with the kissing. Oh, shove it up your ass. Besides, you still owe me an apology. Huh? For what? When someone's frozen, you're supposed to use an item on them or something. You know, like a courier bomb. Were you trying to kill me? It did the trick, right? I guess. Maybe I do owe you one. Thanks. What's gotten into you? Wait. Am I the one you want to smooch? In your dreams. Kidding. Well, anyway. Let's get going. You got it. Right. Reviving Balm, Zeram Powder, Tira Balm. Here we go. Whoa, this is way more roomy than the other caves we've been in. You think this is the end of the line? Sure looks that way. I don't see anything here, though. Or anyone. Maybe we haven't finished exploring? Nah, you're done. Nice work, guys. What? Where'd you come from? You were telling us the whole time, weren't you? Bingo. I've seen everything that's happened on the way here. I figured you wouldn't find it easy, but I wasn't expecting you to all split up partway through. That was your fault for picking this place. We wouldn't have split up if you picked somewhere less complicated. That's why I picked this place, numbnuts. I wanted to see how you'd react when you found yourselves in a complex situation. And I got exactly what I wanted out of it. Yeah, I can buy that. Thanks a lot. You guys are already squared away in battle, I'll give you that. On that front, you're already ahead of your average junior bracer. Really? You really think so? That's only in terms of strength. Unfortunately, you need more than that to be a good bracer, junior or senior. What I saw today really helped me make up my mind on whether you're cut out for this line of work. Good for you. Still don't have enough to go on to make the final call, though. If you want to prove to me that you've got what it takes, you're gonna have to prove it to my heavy blade first. How did I know this is how it's gonna go? Duh, because it was obvious. You want to see what we've got? Then we'd be happy to show you. Come at me. Damn. Dean is not having a good night. Fuck's sake. Okay, stop picking on poor Dean. What is it, Rampardo? Oh, I've lost this fight. Shakedown. Soul Infusion. Embolden. Come on. Come on. And we use Embolden here. And we Shakedown. Get him back up. Good. Do that. Ah, shit. Get you back up. Dang it. Oh, I was so close. Oh, this one didn't go well. screw it. I was so close last time. Here. I healed the wrong person. And bring you back. Drop his own powder on him. And then use Soul Infuse on him. Yay! They massively leveled up. We did it? No joke. We seriously beat him? No way. Well, I'm impressed. Yeah, of course, it was too good to be true. Biggest. Don't go getting too down in the dumps. You managed to get one over on me. You should still feel proud of yourselves. Anyway, now I'm confident I've got a good handle on what you're capable of. So let me break down how you did. Now? You're gonna tell us our exam results then? Here it comes. First up, Dean. I'm first? As a plus, your judgment ain't anything to sniff at. On the other hand, you have a tendency to play it safe even when you don't have to. Your next race. Lay it on me. Your forte is your intuition. In that department, there's solid potential. As far as negatives go, it's hard to overlook how careless you can be when a situation calls for critical thinking. And finally, there's you, Rocco. I'll give you credit for your determination and unrelenting drive to get the job done. But I really can't praise your inability to make calm, rational decisions. Stick those two qualities together and you're a walking accident waiting to happen on your own. I'm sure you can already tell. The three of you just aren't there yet. You're all missing something before I could call you ready. Watching you all work, I was on tenterhooks the whole time. I hate to admit it, but he's probably right. Guess we're done then. That's just if I rate the three of you as individuals. If I rate you as a team, then my verdict becomes a little different. Huh? Wait, what? Watching you take on that last monster on the way here was when I finally was able to stake my confidence in you. Individually, none of you meet the mark, but slap the three of you together, and you just about squeeze over the line. That's why I'm going to give you a passing grade, on one condition. We passed? What's the condition? You can be bracers, but you can only accept the job. You can only accept jobs as a group of three, not individually. Not until you become senior bracers, anyway. We'll see where you stand then. I'll be passing on the news to Gene, so once that's done and over with, he can throw all the work you can handle your way. Together? That's right. I want you to build up experience working together as a group. Work on each of your weaknesses. Then by the time you hit senior level, you'll hopefully be ready to take on the kind of solo work that you can't do now. I see. I can't help but feel lame for only getting conditional pass. Sure, but it beats flunking out completely. Exactly. Well, I'll be expecting a lot of improvement from you guys. By the way, plan on sticking stun rods as your main weapons? I'll buy you all new ones from the weapon shop over in Bose in honor of your passing. Just a little something from me. You're gonna buy something? That's awesome. I think I'm gonna be sick. For crying out loud. My rep with you guys is worse than I thought. Not some kind of evil monster that feeds off pain and suffering, you know. Could have fooled me. You might be right, though. I mean, he's always nice to that little girl. He's got to have a soft spot hidden in there somewhere. What's her name? Tita? You run around that by me again. Crap, why'd you have to go and bring her up? Oops. So that's how you guys want to play this, huh? I should have known being nice wasn't going to get me anywhere. Way to frickin' go, race. No more messing around. Your asses are going to be running your way back to the entrance. Anyone who falls behind any more than I'm willing to allow gets my blade chucked at the back of their head. Right. You're the one with the most stamina here, Rocco. You gotta lead the way so he doesn't catch up with us. That was the plan all along. Exhausted right to the very end, huh? Less talking, more running. Right, yes sir, okay. And so, the Bracer Guild gets 3 more braces. Side story, training, agate style, finished. Super Gladiator headband and 100 mirror. Alright. Olivia Mila, Ren, Richard. Alright. Start or 7. All may set foot within this door to lay claim to its rewards. However, you must first overcome the trial. Should this fail to deter you, open the door and step inside. Let's go. One sec, I just want to check something really quick. Overcome the trial before you. Then I shall grant to you a memory fragment and my blessing. Death screen again. And then we do this. Oop. Oop. All right. And we do another death screen. Man. Good. You have overcome the trial. Thus I shall grant to you a memory fragment and my blessing. Augments are devices that use the orbal energy contained within Septium to cause a variety of useful effects. It has only been a little over half a century since they were first invented. But even in such a short time, they have already revolutionized the world as we know it. From daily necessities such as lighting and heating, to tanks and other similar weapons used to defend our nations. Augments are used in just about every facet of our lives. In fact, it's now hard to imagine life without them. So much of what we take for granted in life now involves them in some way. And it is to proliferate and advance the development of these augments that we exist. We, the Epstein Foundation. Our foundation was first established in the year 1155 of the Septian calendar, after the year after Professor Epstein's passing, and was created by his brilliant-minded disciples in order to honor his wishes. The foundation is based in his home state of Le Mans, where it remains in operation to this day. It was rather limited in size in the beginning, and its attempts to spread orbal technology was initially met with little success. Sensing that the professor's dream would never be realized at the rate they were going, the three key researchers left Le Mans to try and spread the seeds of orbal technology across the continent themselves. One of these was Professor G. Schmidt. The professor, who had gained a fine reputation of his own for his skill in the field of mechanical engineering, went around and visited corporations in various nations to persuade them of the benefits of augments. The second was Professor L. Hamilton. Mindful of the technological gap between regions, she long believed it was rural and remote areas that needed augment technology more than any other. As such, she enlisted the help of the Bracer Guild, which already had a close relationship with the Foundation, and formed a mission with the intent of promoting and spreading the technology where applicable. The professor herself had also toured the regions with the aim of spreading public awareness and laying foundations for others to build on in the future. Third was Professor Albert Russell, now known far and wide as the father of the Orbal Revolution. Professor Russell returned to his home nation of Libor and continued to work tirelessly to advance augment technology there. And within a year of returning, he had set up the Zeiss Engineering Factory, now known as Zeiss Central Factory or ZCF, and created the first augment to be made outside Le Mans State. 3 years later, the reigning king of Libor at the time, Edgar III, visited the factory to inspect it. That's how you know the name of Queen Alicia's predecessor, and decided to donate a large amount of money to further its research. With His Majesty's endorsement, augments began to spread like wildfire throughout the kingdom, bringing such prosperity that the people of other nations were filled with envy. Up until then, most people didn't see augments in a particularly positive light, but their success in Libor changed those impressions virtually overnight. One nation after another began to reach out to our foundation to share augment technology, and both our foundation's financial and societal and social standing became that much more secure. In the eyes of the world, the Orbal Revolution was a sudden, far-reaching transformation. But it was only because of years of reaching out to people and diligent, largely unnoticed research that it was able to happen at all. Those are actually full words. They're proper words. They're just so blurry I can't read them properly. The Foundation's activities center around the following three guiding principles. 1. Carrying out fundamental research on augments. 2. Spreading orbal technology and informing the public of its benefits. 3. Contributing to world peace through technology. Now then, let's discuss each of these guiding principles in more depth. 1. Carrying out fundamental research on augments. The Foundation's most important mission is, naturally, the improvement and development of orbal technology. The fundamental principles behind how orbments work need no improvement as such, but their architectures, their internal structures, have been improved upon countless times in the past and will surely continue to be perfected by the curious mind as the years go on. Orbment's architecture concerns the mechanical parts inside them, such as the cogs and screws, and there is still plenty of room for change as this new technology develops. These improvements can reap great rewards, but the research necessary to make them is known to be as lengthy as it is expensive. As a result, companies who prioritize profit over all else are less inclined to pursue them. That makes our Foundation's research all the more important from a social perspective. Number 2. Spreading Orbal technology and informing the public of its benefits. The two other important goals of the Foundation are to spread Orbal technology as widely as possible and to educate the public on the correct way to use it. While orbments have become part of the daily lives of most who live in advanced nations and populated urban areas, the reality in remote and mountainous regions is very different. To counter this, we have long worked to send missions of engineers and bracers to these regions to try and better the standard of living for those people, and will continue to do so. We also continue to work on other ways to spread awareness of Orbal technology, such as working closely with the Septian Church to have it added to the curriculum of Sunday school classes, contributing to world peace through technology. It is to pursue this noble yet extremely difficult goal that the Foundation has had a close relationship with the Bracer Guild ever since its initial founding. The Guild was established as an international peacekeeping organization and can mediate on conflicts between nations from a neutral point of view, making it essential to the stability of our world as it stands. The Epstein Foundation continues to back them up fully in their cause, with both with financial aid and using the fact that Lamont State is the only place where tactical orbments are produced to provide them with equipment. Just as well, this relationship also provides ideal feedback toward tweaking the quality of tactical orbments as they are used in combat too. Every machine and every invention goes through a long, grueling process behind the scenes before eventually reaching its finished, refined form, and tactical orbments are no exception. Then, in Septian calendar 1190, our Foundation unveiled the Orbal Network project, which will be implemented in partnership with the ZCF. Said project aims to join all of Zemuria together with a single united communications network. But our hope is that it will do much more than that. Our hope is that it will help to realize a peaceful world through communication. Sadly, Orbment's relationship with peace as a concept has become somewhat complicated. Are they aiding in its realization, or are they doing the exact opposite? Professor Epstein expressed his hopes as that their ability to realize the limitless looping energy would be able to bring lasting peace to the world. Instead, recent years have thoroughly betrayed those hopes, and the post-revolution world has been a chaotic one indeed. The conflict between Libel and Erebonia, for one, made significant use of Orbal weaponry, airships included. It seems beyond a doubt that Orbal weaponry will continue to become more and more advanced, making war an even more tragic event than ever. In the face of all of this, how should we go about trying to create a peaceful world? We believe the best way to do this is to rely on the power of communication and a means to do so with people of different nationalities and races. If these people can more easily interact and more easily deepen their understanding of one another, perhaps that will allow us to create the world we all so dearly desire. In the end, one thing is for certain: our challenges to try and realize Professor Epstein's ideals are only just beginning. Side story: Epstein Foundation finished. Yay! Alrighty. Star Door 8. Bring to me the playful minstrel and his closest ally against the beast they seek to overcome. Only then shall the door open. I shall grant you a memory fragment and my blessing. One month after the collapse of the Liber Arc. The banquet to celebrate the crisis's successful resolution was over, with Estelle and her friends having largely left the capital to go elsewhere. One of them, however, Prince Oliver Teresano, sat rather comfortably in the ambassador's office in Gransel's Erebonian embassy, his work in the country not quite settled. I can't believe that you... I mean, my deepest apologies for not noticing that you were His Highness Prince Oliver Tsuna. Oh, I'm not surprised you never realized. I may be a prince, but my mother was a commoner. What point is there in bothering to remember my face? It's not as though I have often showed myself in the palace or attended high society gatherings. Knowing me certainly isn't going to help you in moving up the ranks, my friend. There's no need to be so humble, Your Highness. Besides, I'm actually rather grateful to you, Ambassador. You gave me all kinds of useful advice during my stay here at the embassy that I'm sure will be to my benefit in the future. Well, meant words like, act like a man of the Empire for once in your life. And stop idling here, go home, and try doing some damned work. Your Highness, Your Highness, I think you've tormented him enough for one day. The ambassador behaved in the same way any other sane man would in his position. If anything, I'd say he has every right to be angry at us for keeping the truth from him for so long. But, Mueller... I suppose you're right. I'll spare him any more teasing for now. I actually wasn't joking about being grateful to you, though. You truly have done admirable work over the past month. I have. Acting as a pipeline with the Empire, checking the safety of Erebonians residing in Libal, helping the international liner service to resume. And those are only the tip of the iceberg. You've done so much more. You have my deepest thanks as a prince of the Empire. I am not worthy of such praise, Your Highness. You, however, deserve the utmost for braving the danger you did flying up to the Liber Arc. Of all what happened, seems to have caused quite the commotion in our homeland. So the people seem to be rather relieved now that they know the danger has passed. It's all thanks to your courage that they are able to rest easy. Oh, there's no point in flattering me, Ambassador. I just did what I could. Nothing more, nothing less. And I couldn't have done anything alone. All I was able to accomplish was thanks to the help of those around me. I'm fairly removed from the stereotype of Erebonians as stern, strong, and self-sufficient, if I do say so myself. As rude as it may be to agree, perhaps you are correct. And yet I believe your willingness to be flexible most definitely helped rather than hindered you here. I believe people like you are exactly what the Empire is going to need in the future. Regardless of how I may feel about His Excellency the Chancellor's approach. Ambassador. Well, this is a surprise. I was under the impression that you supported the Chancellor. Then again, you are a noble. But does that lead you to oppose his reformist policies, perhaps? I may be a noble on paper, but I'm only a baron. All in all, I generally fall in favor of his reformist policies. Be that as it may, while this may just be the result of being in Libel for so long, and being influenced by the ways of its people, I do sometimes find myself becoming frightened by his hardline approach. I can't help but wonder exactly what direction he's trying to take our old nation. Interesting. Your Highness? Oh, I was just thinking that I'm quite glad to have taken the chance to engage in such fruitful talk with you just before departing the country. I pray that you will continue doing all you can to ensure the peace of Libel and surrounding nations while I'm gone. Preferably in cooperation with Ambassador Cochrane. Yes, let's not forget her, I suppose. Still, it's true that since the Non-Aggression Pact was signed, there has been some progress with regards to the Crossbell problem. And given that it was Libel who proposed said pact, that makes my role in future negotiations very important indeed. I presume that is what you're trying to say. You're a sharp one, my good man. Excellent. Now I can return to the capital with my mind at ease. Leave everything to me. Leave everything here to me, Your Highness. I'll be looking forward to hearing what you achieved back in our homeland. Ah, of course the ambassador is also a good person. This truly is a country like no other. I never thought the day would come when I would hear things like that from a noble of the Empire. Indeed. He's apparently somewhat less of an obstinate man than I thought he was. Perhaps this nation's very heir has the power to genuinely change people. It seems to have had an effect on you, too. I feel like I'm seeing a lot more smiles from you these days than I used to. I'm loath to admit it, but that may well be true. I still find myself wishing that you would learn from the Libellian's dignity and sense of restraint, however. Two qualities you don't particularly possess in any measure. In fact, you have far too much of their opposites. You say that, but these qualities are the only weapon I have. I don't have much that will allow me to compete against the Chancellor. I need to use what little I can. I need to use what little happens to be tucked in my corner as best I can. Have there been any changes to our plans? None. We should be able to proceed as arranged. 3 days ago, the Chancellor left the capital on a tour of Eastern Erebonia. Tomorrow, you will be returning there aboard the Arcel, while he is still out in the east. All those who need to be made aware of our return have been given proper notice. Your arrival in Erebonia will make a real impact. Of that, I am certain. What potential obstructions to the plan are there at present? Nothing major. There have been some movements in the Intelligence Division's 4th subdivision, but not much. There's a chance that everyone is being cautious because the Arcel is involved. But I'd put greater odds on the idea that everyone is just treating this as a pompous performance by you and not taking it seriously. Well, they'd be right to. It is. I have no choice but to start here. Even if this means I have to use Libel. And if I'm going to put on a show, why not put on the finest one the skies have ever seen? I suppose I can't argue that. I'm sorry to trouble you at this late hour, Your Highness. A message has arrived for you from Heimdall. What would you have me do? Really? Alright, come in. Pardon me. Lecter! Well, if it isn't Lecter. I was wondering where you'd been. I haven't seen you all day. I've been exceptionally busy with work since this morning, I'm afraid. I hoped to be able to come see you earlier, since you will be leaving tomorrow. I'm terribly sorry for not being able to. Oh, never mind that. If that work of yours is done now, we three could always enjoy some sensual quality time together for the remainder of the night. So, what was the message from the capital, Secretary? They've acknowledged receipt of His Highness's message. However, they didn't anticipate that you may be able to arrive all the way from Gransel in less than half a day. As such, they're currently in a minor panic trying to ensure everything's ready for the ceremony tomorrow. That doesn't come in as a surprise. There's nothing like the Arcel when it comes to speed at home. How cruel you both are for so deftly ignoring my proposal. Although it sounds as though the stage will be set in time. Now I need to decide on an outfit that will leave everyone's jaws on the floor to sweeten my arrival. Perhaps a glistening coat and white loincloth will do the trick. That'd make a grand impact, alright. I wish I could go along and see it myself. Please don't encourage him. You show remarkable promise for someone so young. What do you say to coming back on the Arcel with me? I'd welcome your company. Your work here in Libel is just about done as it is, isn't it? Your offer's certainly tempting, but I'm afraid I have another job to take care of soon. The thought is appreciated, of course. Really? Well, that is a shame. Good luck with that next job of yours. Thank you. Well, if you'll excuse me. So, that is Second Secretary Lecter Arundel. Is it safe to assume he's one of the Chancellors? Almost definitely, yes. He came through Hacking Gate on foot and took up his new position at the embassy a month ago. And right around the same time we headed to the Liber Ark and board the Arcel that there's no way that could have possibly be coincidence. No, it couldn't. The most likely possibility seems that he's part of the intelligence division. Are you sure not doing anything regarding him at all this time was a good idea? Oh, absolutely. We needed some way to find out what the Chancellor was up to after all. We'll probably get some kind of reaction from the Chancellor through his reports at some point. Probably in about 2 weeks when the Chancellor's tour has finished. You'd planned that far ahead all along, had you? Well, in that case, I'll be sure that we're ready. I'll be counting on you, love. Oh, something the matter? Not really. It's just that the moon has come out. And what a beautiful full moon it is. It's strange to think this will be the last time we'll see the moon from here. Truth be told, I'm going to miss it. Well, well. It looks like putting a smile on your face a little more often isn't the only thing Libel's done for you. It's opened up your eyes to life's natural beauty as well. But in all seriousness, we'll just have to do all we can to be able to come back and see it again one day. While we're both still alive. Indeed. The next morning. Your Majesty, Your Highness, I humbly thank you both for your generous hospitality during my stay in your foreign kingdom. You were even gracious enough to humor my brazen request of escorting me back to Heimdall aboard the Arcel. This debt I owe you will be repaid many times over in the future. Rest assured of that. Oh, you needn't think of this as anything we went out of our way for. Escorting an honored estate guest back home is a matter of course. Particularly a guest to whom we owe a great debt of gratitude. If you ever have the opportunity, please do come back to Libel again in the future. I imagine Estelle and Joshua will be back by then too. So we'll all be able to give you a nice warm welcome. I'm already excited for my next visit. Have they left the country yet, by the way? They're busy getting ready to leave over in Roland at the moment, I believe. I'm planning to see them off when the time comes. I see. Incidentally, while the ruins of Hamel are currently sealed off, I'll do what I can on my end to ensure they are allowed inside. Could I trouble you to pass that along to them? Certainly. Thank you very much, Your Highness. Oh, think nothing of it. It's the least I could do after all they've done for me. I owe you a great deal too, Cassius. If not for your assistance, stopping that armored division from crossing into Libel wouldn't have been as simple as it was. I could say the same to you. Still, as I'm sure you're aware, that outcome will have been well within the realm of possibility for the Chancellor. I doubt he was even surprised by the incident. Really? Most likely not. Erebania had nothing at all to gain from using that situation to occupy Libel, and certainly not to the extent that it would be worth going out of their way to develop inefficient steam tanks. The only reason I could see him for doing what he did was as a show of power to the surrounding nations. A statement that even without Orbital power, Erebonia's army could still act. I indeed suspect that was his true aim all along. Goodness. So you did notice. The Orbital shutdown phenomenon was a complete unknown to the rest of the continent. Perhaps it might never occur again. But there's always the chance it might, whether it's here or somewhere else entirely. I hear the Empire only built a relatively small number of tanks in all too. Certainly not enough to launch a full-scale invasion. By the sounds of it, they were just put together in Reinford's factories using parts intended for standard Orbital tanks. But as it stands, the know-how to put together tanks like that only exists in the Empire. And in these unpredictable times, no other nation has the time or resources to try and develop an extremely inefficient steam-powered weaponry. In a sense, because of what just happened, the Imperial Army's effect as a deterrent is even greater than ever. He is using war as a diplomatic tool, and very effectively at that. None of this had even occurred to me. I have a long way to go before I'm fit to be ruler of this country. Don't beat yourself up too much about it. He's no ordinary foe even to the most hardened veterans. The Chancellor always seems to be thinking several steps ahead of the rest of the world. It's impressive, no matter what we may think of his actual ideas. I'm quite the reckless fool to be trying to challenge him, if I do say so myself. Don't be silly, Your Highness. How you can say that with a smile on your face is utterly beyond me. You should focus on building yourself a strong foothold to begin with. I do hope you'll be careful. No matter what may occur, be sure not to lose sight of exactly where you stand. Of course, Your Majesty. If I were to go and bring shame upon myself now, I'd be wasting all the effort involved in escorting me back home. I'll be sure to take what you have said to heart. Excuse me, Your Majesty. Hilda? Whatever is the matter? It's not often I see you so flustered. My apologies, Your Majesty. It's just that a guest for you has arrived all of a sudden in the castle. Ordinarily, I would not have rushed in while you were meeting with others, but the visitor is so irregular that I thought you should know at once. Irregular? How so? It sounds like it's about time I take my leave, then. Actually, the visitor said he would like to greet you as well, and not just Her Majesty. What? Hilda, just who is this visitor? Well, he introduced himself as Chancellor Gileath Osborne of the Erebonian Empire. It's an honor to be granted a personal audience. I am Gileath Osborne, representative of the Imperial Government. My apologies for the abrupt intrusion. So you are Chancellor Osborne. And it's a pleasure to see you again as well, Your Highness. It's been a year since we last met, has it not? I hope these passing months have seen you well. Yes, a year sounds about right. Still, while I hope you forgive me for asking, just what did prompt someone of your stature to appear at the castle without warning? I'd very much like to hear your side of the story. My apologies, Your Highness. You see, these past few days I've been touring Eastern Erebania on routine inspections. It's been going very smoothly, more so than I had initially anticipated. I had enough free time in my schedule to pay a cordial visit. Oh my, is that so? Naturally. I would have preferred to come here while the crisis was still unfolding like you yourself did, Your Highness. Unfortunately, the confusion in southern Erebania was simply too pressing a matter, and I had no choice but to deal with that first. This was the first chance that presented itself to come here and meet directly with Her Majesty, and so I acted with the utmost expediency. I hope you'll forgive my lack of proper decorum in failing to give advance notice of my arrival. That does make sense, at least. Regardless, please don't concern yourself with me. No doubt you wish to offer your greetings to Her Majesty. My thanks, Your Highness. Well then, allow me to extend my most heartfelt greetings to both of you, Queen Alicia and Princess Claudia. It's abundantly clear that the crisis that unfolded here has been quite the ordeal for yourselves and for your nation's people. You have my deepest sympathies for the hardships you have endured, as well as my commendation for bringing the situation under control. I thank you for your kind words, Your Excellency. If anything, we should be apologizing to you for the fact that the southern side of your nation was caught up in what should have been our problem. We should be the ones going to you, rather than having to trouble yourself to come all the way to Libel. I beg you to accept our apologies together with my deepest thanks for coming here today. I would never ask for apologies. I've heard what happened was the work of a shadowy organization stirring up trouble within your borders. While I meant well by sending a military force to aid you, I wouldn't have done something so careless had I known the truth of the matter. My actions were rash, foolish even, and I was rightfully reprimanded by His Imperial Majesty for them. Oh my. Fortunately, His Highness the Prince was able to act with all due haste to put right my misstep before even greater harm was done. I owe you a great debt of gratitude for that, Your Highness, and congratulations, besides, for your part in bringing an end to the crisis. Oh, I did nothing out of the ordinary. I had a lot of help from Her Majesty, Her Highness, and Brigadier General Bright here too. Bright, you say? It's a pleasure to meet you, Your Excellency. I am Cassius Bright, Brigadier General in the Liberian Royal Army. The pleasure is all mine, I assure you. Your name is rather well known, even in the Empire. Not as much as yours is known here in Libel, I would imagine. It's an honor to be able to speak with you in person. It's certainly a surprise to be able to, though. Coming here on a whim can't have been easy for a man as busy as yourself. It sounds as though I may have underestimated how capable you truly are. Not at all. I was greatly impressed to see the Royal Army's effectiveness in dealing with the tumult here. Your forces have proven powerful yet flexible, capable of dealing with emergencies ably and decisively. I might go so far as to say it embodies an ideal that the Imperial Army, with its swollen ranks, could never hope to realize. You flatter us, Your Excellency. For your part, I hear you were responsible for the establishment of the Imperial Army's famed intelligence division. Our army is in desperate need of a new one of its own, and so I find myself quite envious. It almost sounds as though the two of us want what the other has. So it does. May I ask, Your Excellency, what will you be doing now? For my part, I am intending to leave Libel today, so I'm afraid I won't be around much longer.
Yes, so I've been told. I believe you're intending to make your grand arrival in Heimdall aboard the famous Arcel?
I'm impressed you're already aware.
I almost wish I could return to Ereburnia on board it alongside you. But alas, I'm afraid I have other business in demanding my attention after I'm finished there. Here. I'll be leaving Libel separately this afternoon.
That is a shame. I would have very much liked to invite you to this evening's banquet.
Please, you need not go to such troubles on my account. I feel as though I've put you out enough showing up unannounced as I did, to say nothing of dining with such esteemed company. Still, I do have some time before the airship I'll be leaving on is due to depart. That being the case, may I ask for a little of your time, Your Highness? I have a few things I'd like to discuss with you personally.
Very well. I have some matters I would actually like to discuss personally with you as well.
What a fortuitous coincidence!
Allow me to have a room arranged for the two of you to have your discussion then. Hilda, if you would. Certainly, Your Majesty. Boom, 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 boom.
It's obvious that Her Majesty is quite the tea fancier if this blend is anything to go by. Fragrance, the temperature, the taste. I'd be hard-pressed to find fault with any of it. I've always been more of a coffee man myself, but I have no doubt that I'd be content with a cup of this at my desk each morning.
As much as I agree with you, I don't believe we're here to talk about beverages. So, shall we get right to the point? What did you want to discuss with me?
I see your sojourn in Libel has proven most fruitful.
Pardon?
When we last spoke, you struck me as a bright, flexible young man, and no doubt you still are. But now, I see you are resilient in your resilient inner strength, girding those aspects. I'm sure His Majesty will be most delighted with your personal development.
Meanwhile, I see you're the same fearless man I've always known you to be. More so, even. That crushing aura about you seems to have only grown with time. It's as if you feed on the resentment of those who live in the territories you annex.
Such harsh words, Your Highness. Personally, I prefer the term political unification. Annex can carry such negative connotations, you know. Since the end of the 100 Days' War, our army hasn't committed a single act of aggression. All our unifications have been entirely peaceful.
Oh, you're quite right about that. On the surface.
Oh?
It's amazing how similar the annexation process is every single time it happens. It starts with a small nation or independent state with an array of problems beyond repair. Those problems start to worsen, after which Jaegers and other dangerous elements enter, plunging public order to an all-time low. Desperate for a solution, the local government requests the help of the Imperial Army, and before they know it, they're a part of the Empire.
Well, it's not as though I can deny what you're saying. Each instance does share certain commonalities. Still, it's to be expected. An inevitable consequence of the age of unchecked growth and progress in which we live. The Imperial Army is simply acting in the Empire's best interests, helping destabilize our neighbors for the good of the Empire.
And it's understandable that they would. I do find myself rather curious why Intelligence Division members are going to such nations with such peculiar frequency. Well before the problems I described worsen, no less.
I won't press as to where you came by such information, as curious as I am. But I will say this, at its most basic level, these actions are about risk management.
Give me chocolate. Yay, chocolate. Oops. 1 moment, people.
It's because we've been acting to minimize such risks beforehand that the army has been able to successfully quell each problem in turn.
With the small price of earning the disdain of the people in those nations and an increased risk of terrorism in exchange. To tell you the truth, I'm rather astounded that you had the courage to come here to Libol all on your own to begin with. After all, you've made yourself the biggest target for terrorists in all of Erebonia.
Your concern is touching, Your Highness. I would ask that you not trouble yourself with my safety. I employ some very skilled subordinates tasked primarily with eliminating the risk of terrorist attacks against me.
Really now? That Lecter is one of those, I assume?
A rather peculiar fellow, isn't he? But a very useful one all the same. Working out the scheduling for this trip and taking all the necessary precautions to ward off terrorist threats were both his doing. And thanks to his commendable efforts, I can depart for Crossbell free from worries as soon as I finish my business here.
Crossbell?
Are you surprised? I'll be participating in a top-secret discussion with a representative of the Crossbell government. Recently, a large amount of funding has been flowing into the country through Republican channels, putting our allies on the defensive. I'd always meant to visit at some point, and this seemed the perfect opportunity.
Are you out of your mind? Crossbell is full of enemies and different factions at each other's throats. I hear it's now even a hotbed for terrorists and criminal organizations, because of its position as a buffer state. Does that really sound like a place the Erebonian Chancellor should be going even on an unofficial visit?
I'm surprised to hear you advocating caution in the face of potential danger, Your Highness. After all, it was you who flew onto an ancient city, at great risk to your own safety, and returned unharmed after surveying it. Compared to such rousing risk-taking, my visit to Crossbell will be child's play. As I'm sure you're aware, You're regarded as something of a hero back in Ereburnia now. Oh, to see a hero make a grand return befitting his newly minted legend. And aboard the famous Arcel, no less. Naturally, our hero has also taken the time to ensure that every well-known newspaper and magazine are aware of his homecoming too. Oh, I have no doubts your triumphant arrival will be every bit as glorious as it has played out in your imaginings, Your Highness. Do be sure to capitalize on this chance as best you can to build yourself a firm foothold. I expect great things from you after all.
Scree! Hey, buddy! You haven't changed a bit, huh? Scree! Really? Sounds like a ton's happened, huh? But it's nice to see you and your master are doing alright. Scree! Lecter? I don't have the graveliness to do his voice. Well. Good day to you, Your Highness. I pray I'm not causing any trouble by taking a tour of the castle like this. The view from this terrace certainly is beautiful, isn't it? What happened to you, Lecter? How did you end up working for Chancellor Osborne? I'm sorry. I haven't the faintest idea what you mean. Are you perchance mistaking me for someone else? Your name is Lecter Arundel. You were the student council president at Janus Royal Academy, which you attended before leaving suddenly 2 years ago. So no, I am not mistaking you for someone else. But that's where you're wrong, because my name is actually Lech Terundel. I can certainly see how our names could become mixed up, however, they are scarily close. Now you know. Please just call me Lech. Don't try and joke around with me, Lecter. Do you have any idea how worried all of us were when you just disappeared without a word? This minute you noticed to leave the academy and then were never seen again. Even the otherwise calm Leo let out a cry of something, and all Lucy could do was give a sad smile and say, "This is just like him." The whole time with tears in her eyes. Jill and Hans were heartbroken, and so was I. Yet after all this time, you finally show yourself knowing full well that I'm here, and this is how you act, by pretending you're someone else? Lecter. Sorry. No need for the scary glare. You're still taking things way too seriously. Looks like it'll take more than stepping up as Crown Princess to change that part of you. Oh. But, you know, seeing you makes me feel kinda relieved. I always figured if someone like you became Crown Princess, you'd have virtually no freedom to do anything other than work. But from all that's reached my ears, it sounds like you're actually doing alright for yourself. And you even made some great new friends after I left the academy, didn't you? Nice! I sure did. Nonetheless, it's thanks to you that I was able to change it all. You were the one who gave me the first push in the right direction. I never got the chance to thank you properly after you left. But all this time, I've always been grateful to you. Well, consider me honored. Do I get a kiss in return? You do not. I may feel respect towards you, but nothing romantic. Your heart belongs to two others. Ah, that's a bummer. It was me, all taken in by how pretty you'd become, wondering if this could be the start of something downright magical. What happens instead? My dreams of romance and sweet smooches are crushed to nothing before they can even begin. I know you don't mean a word of that, you know. You're looking very sharp yourself, though. It's surprising to see. Every time I've seen you before today, it was in that heavily frayed uniform worn in the most sloppy way imaginable. I think you'll find I was merely making a fashion statement. That wasn't laziness or slobbishness. Every part of it was carefully calculated and considered to have maximum effect. scary thing is, I actually believe you. You always seemed as if you cared for nothing but having fun and causing trouble. Yet when it came down to it, you were wise beyond your years. And I've finally seen part of the reason behind that today. I'll ask you again, Lecter. How did you end up working for Chancellor Osborne like this? Just what happened to you between submitting your notice to leave in the academy and now? It's like this. You'll find out in the future. Do you know? I have to admit, I never imagined that would be the case. On the contrary, I was expecting you to tell me to back off.
Oh, adios forbid. What reason would I have to suggest such a thing? After all, at the end of the day, our positions are functionally the same.
I'm not sure I understand.
Do you not think so? Personally, I find it difficult to believe you would not harbor some hatred toward Erebonia as it is today. A grand empire clinging to the glories of a bygone era. Ruled by the nobility and shackled by meaningless conventions. Am I wrong? People call me the Blood and Iron Chancellor as though I hold the whole of Erebonia in the palm of my hand. But in reality, my position is far more tenuous. I have supporters and allies in the capital, certainly. But outside its walls, the nobility holds far more sway than any of them. And while it is true that I hold a great amount of power in the form of the Imperial Army, even then, I only truly command around 70% of it. The remainder is loyal to the nobility, who also maintain their own private armies. With those factored in, my advantage shrinks substantially. So you see, I'm still very much in the midst of a battle to truly exert control.
Which is why you're building railways all over the country to expand your area of influence. And you've been annexing new territory to that same end.
As I've long thought, you clearly understand me better than anyone else. That is why I'll say this once again. Work with me, Your Highness. With your support, our nation will be able to bring about real reform faster than ever. The noble faction, bloated with its centuries of decadence, can be stopped before they even have a chance to unify against us. Surely that's what you desire more than anything.
Let me just ask a simple question, Chancellor. What connection do you have to Ouroboros?
I'm afraid I'm not quite sure what you're asking. I will say this, however. I'm a firm believer in using every resource at my disposal in the name of achieving reform. That's the way I believe in handling politics.
I see. Well, it certainly does seem as though you would see eye to eye in many ways. And that's all the more reason why I'm afraid I must refuse your offer.
Is that so?
Yes, I find it difficult to like the rotten noble faction that exists in the Empire. Or perhaps you are right, that hate is the more appropriate word. But my feelings of fear toward your methods are far greater than my feelings of hatred toward the nobles. What you seem to be doing is trying to compel Erebonians with a delusive utopia, to whip them up into an enthusiastic frenzy. No doubt by successfully convincing the people, the old guard will fall into the metaphorical firestorm created. And yet, by then, the gears will have already begun turning. There will be no satisfying aroused populace with a thirst for revolution. The storm will just keep growing larger and more ravenous, engulfing anything and everything in its wake. You know this, don't you, Chancellor?
But of course, after all, that's what I intend to happen. It's the first stage of my reforms. I'd be more than happy to share further details with you if you were to decide to work with me, Your Highness. In the meantime, I wish you well in strengthening your foothold back in the Empire. Of course, if it's your intention, you'll find it a necessity to work with those nobles you so despise.
You truly do see through everything, don't you?
Well, that sounds like the noon bell. The airship should be arriving shortly. Which means it's time for me to take my leave, I'm afraid. I look forward to seeing you again in the capital in 2 weeks' time.
I take it the discussion is over then. What's wrong? You look awfully tired. Oh, nothing. I'm just feeling odd and new. What a monster I decided to pick a fight with. Oopsie. I think it's probably about time for the airship to arrive. I'm gonna have to stop you there and get going. What? See you, Sieg. Next time I see you, I'll bring you some Erebonian salami as a souvenir, okay? Scree! Wait. Are you planning to just disappear without telling me anything a second time? I've got an important question for you. Did you fall in love with someone while I was away? Hit the nail on the head, huh? Aw, that's so cute. First love, right? How does it feel? Heart all aflutter 1 minute, end of the world the next? Don't you dare start teasing me. But you're right though, I did. You rejected me in this very spot not that long ago. Wait, you're joking, right? No, there's a coincidence I didn't see coming. I'm not so sure about that. It feels like you know everything sometimes. I'm not some kind of all-knowing, all-seeing divinity. That's what makes the world so interesting to me. Oh. I'm happy for you, Chloe. Knowing the pain of lost love's what makes a girl blossom, in my humble opinion. Do you feel like the whole experience let you get a step closer to the person you want to be? Oh. What about you? Do you feel that you're getting closer to becoming the person that you want to be? By being at the Chancellor's side? Kinda hard to do that when I don't have a person I want to be to begin with. I'm just sticking with him because it feels like it'll be fun. That's all. I've been doing it since before I joined the academy, in fact. You have? That prince is proving surprisingly capable. But he still isn't a match for the Chancellor. Tell him to watch his back, alright? So that he doesn't get swallowed up by that monster after he gets tired of dancing. See ya. Goodbye, Lecter. Thank you all for waiting. The Calabria International Airliner, bound for the Principality of Remiferia, will be departing momentarily. Please mind your footing when boarding. Phew. So that was the Blood and Iron Chancellor. I can't believe he actually went out of his way to use a civilian airship when he probably has a private one of his own. I heard rumors about how out of the ordinary he is, but he lives up to all of them. He keeps me on my toes, to put it playfully enough. Him aside, thanks for coming all this way to see me off, Shara. I was lucky I just happened to have business here at the right time. It feels like this is going to be the last chance we'll get to see one another for a while, after all. Rather unfortunate, as my dream is and always was to live away my days in the lap of luxury surrounded by women as beautiful as you. Well, good luck with that. Changing the subject though, who was the young man at the Chancellor's side? He didn't strike me as your ordinary guy. Oh, you could tell. But of course. I'd say I'm used to running into people who are out of the ordinary at this point. We've sure fought enough of them. His name's Lecter Arundel. He's a secretary who was sent here by the Imperial government. Apparently, he was the one who planned out all the details of the Chancellor's visit to Libel. I can't pretend to know much regarding his background, but he's exceptionally skilled at what he does. Actually, I know a little. What? Oh? Is that true? Yes. Claudia explained that Lecter once attended the same academy as her, and had served as its student council president. She also mentioned about his sudden disappearance after the Academy Festival 2 years ago. Unbelievable. Then, someone connected to the Chancellor had visited Libel first? Then he's very likely to have had his own veritable information network established here long before I even came up with the idea. I think it's safe for us to assume that's the case, which also means that it's safe to assume that he knows every detail about all that's happened here since. From the coup d'etat to the crisis regarding the Oriole, all of it. This man gets more unbelievable by the minute. He actually gave me a message to pass on to you earlier too. Watch your back so you don't get swallowed up by that monster when you get tired of dancing. He sure knows how to sting where it hurts, doesn't he? I feel that I can see a whole new world of pleasure opening up before my eyes. He should know better. Getting outdone at every turn like this is really not my style. What do you mean? Captain Schwarz, I have a little favor I'd like to ask for you when we're in... when we're in the air.
I'm rather impressed with how Prince Olivert has come along. No matter how he chooses to act from here on, he will have his uses, to be certain.
You would say that, given that you think of everyone as your pawns. There's me, the prince, that society.
Indeed, and I am much the same. We are but pawns on the vast game board that is the Empire, where a thrill like no other will take place. But it's because you, too, wish to see how that game plays out that you've chosen to stand with me, is it not?
Well, hey, what can I say? Just don't forget that this piece right here might not be loyal forever.
And such a betrayal will be perfectly fine by me. Or did you honestly think I'd never considered the possibility it may happen?
I just thought I'd come out and say it. How are the other Ironbloods doing, by the way?
They're all doing very well by the sound of it. At the rate things are going, there's a chance all of the prince's efforts will be for naught. Perhaps I ought to hold back on him a little.
You sure don't pull any punches, do you? You know something? I wouldn't write him off so easily if I were in your shoes.
What?
All of it.
What? They look like rose petals.
If you look out the windows on the right-hand side of the airship, you will be able to see the famous high-speed cruiser, the Arcel. We've been informed that it is on the way to the Imperial capital with Prince Olivet of the Erebranian Empire, but he has also given a message to relay to all the passengers on board today. I give thanks to Adios for the good fortune to have been able to meet you today. May your journey be filled with beautiful roses and her blessings. And of course, may your journey to your homes be a safe and pleasant one. That marks the end of his message. Well played, Olivia. Well played, Olivet. I never thought there was a bigger dumbass in the world than me. And yet, here we are.
Well done. Very well, debaucherous prince. I look forward to seeing what you can do. Show me how long you can hold out against me.
I love that. Return to the Empire. Finished. And we got the Divine Eye from that. Alright, who else do we have left? Okay, we just need Ren and Zen to unlock that one door. So we go back to the base area. There he is.
Shall we?
Mira comes and Mira goes, but sometimes it may be lost. But at times, that loss can be regained manyfold. After 50,000 Mira to me, only then shall the door open. I shall grant you a memory fragment and my blessing. I just want to check something real quick. What's the situation here? Okay, that's fine. I'm not losing frames. So what's going on? in the Septian Church. Mayor Maybell. Thank you very much for coming today. I'd love it if you would be able to start coming to pray like this more often. I'm afraid that it looks as though I won't have a choice in that matter. If I show any signs of skipping mass lately, Lila gives me a stern lecturing. You're rather fortunate to have someone like her by your side, you know. Nothing is more valuable to a person than someone who will chide them when they seem to be straying from the right path. Oh, I couldn't agree more. I do wish she would go a little easier on me than she currently does, however. Look at it this way. Just the fact that she doesn't shows just how important you are to her. For one thing, I hear you've been exceptionally busy with work these days. I wouldn't be surprised if she hoped to make the time you spend here to be a break from all of that. As frustrating as it is to admit, that's a scarily sound assessment. But she can't keep me awake from work forever, now can she? I think I ought to be getting back to it now, so if you'll excuse me, please give my regards to Father Holstein too. Certainly, a good day to you then. As if Lila wasn't bad enough, now I have Sister Rosa saying the same things as her. Oh well, next up is inspecting the market, so I should probably get to doing that. I was expecting Lila to be here to meet me by now though. She's been awfully cold to me lately, and I still don't have a clue as to why. Thought she was going to pray with me today too, but she up and decided she needed to take care of shopping. Maybe I can grill her on it later. For now, I should hurry and get to the market. Oh, isn't that Lila? Thanks, I really do appreciate your help today. Not at all. I should be saying the same to you. Anyway, if you need anything else, just give me a call. I can always work my way out of whatever's on my schedule to make time for you. I'll certainly keep that in mind. Please do. My little sister's been so excited for the big day already. It'll surely be one to remember. Yes, I'm sure. For now, however, I really should be going. Oh yeah, the mayor should be about done with mass now, right? Until next time. Farewell for now. Did I just witness what I think I did? So that's why she's been acting so distant towards me lately. Oh, she had said something. Thought we were supposed to be close. I suppose it shouldn't come as much of a surprise. She's a grown woman, and she might seem cold toward people on the outside, but she's a wonderful human being, and a rather attractive one too. If anything, I'm surprised it's taken her this long to find someone. Well, it wouldn't be fair for me to get in the way of her happiness. I do feel a little lonely at the thought, but she's going to want my support. It wouldn't be right for me not to give her it. I'll have to apologize for being late. Might I ask exactly what you're doing? Ah, it's you, Lila. How long have you been there? You appear to be rather tired. This is why I keep telling you that you need to stop overexerting yourself. Oh no, I'm not, I assure you. Shall we head to the market? Well, if you say so. The next day. Mayor Maybell? Can I ask you to go over what you want me to do one more time? Just so I'm not misunderstanding. Well, as I said, I would like to investigate exactly what relationship those two have, as well as what kind of person the gentleman in question is. So to put it in simpler terms, you want me to check out whether they're dating and do a background check on the man, right? Is that right? Yes. Yes, it is. Is there something wrong? Well, kinda. I mean, we bracers do at times do background checks on people. But that's when we suspect or know for sure they're involved in a crime. If they're not, also would be an invasion of their privacy, and that doesn't exactly fly with us. Oh. Obviously, if you have reason to believe the man Lila appears to be dating is involved in illegal activity, I'd be able to help. Is that the case, though? No. On the contrary, actually. He appears to be a good, honest man. I see. There's obviously going to be the chance that's just a facade and he's not the kind of person he appears to be, but as it stands, I don't see any grounds for the guild to make their move. That is unfortunate, but I can certainly see where you're coming from. I'm sorry for troubling you with this. I don't know what came over me. Please forget this conversation ever happened. Forgive me for asking this, but you're all in favor of them dating, right? You're not trying to break them up or something? So why are you so concerned with finding all this out? As I think you're aware, Lila lost her mother and father during the 100 Days War. As far as I can tell, the scars that left on her heart still haven't truly healed either. And I believe this is her first foray into romantic relationships too. I'm just so worried about her getting hurt as a result of this. I'm not the slightest concerned about how noble man's family is, or how much money they have. Nothing superficial like that. All I want to know is whether he genuinely cares for her well-being and will make her happy. That's all that matters to me. I see where you're coming from. Still, at the end of the day, it doesn't give me the excuse to invade the men's privacy or meddle in their affairs. I'm sure Lila will eventually tell me about what's going on when she feels the time is right. I can ask her all of my questions then. This is good stuff. What do you mean? I completely understand where you're coming from here. I'd be more than happy to accept your request. Oh, wait, I thought, are you sure? Wouldn't doing so violate the Bracer Code? Oh, no worries. The Bracer Code's totally open to individual interpretations, so it leaves a lot to each Bracer's personal judgment. I feel trying to follow the code to the letter, and ignoring the feelings of those we're trying to serve misses the point of being a Bracer too. So I don't think it's unfair to dismiss your well-meaning intentions as trying to invade someone's privacy either. You leave all of this to me. I'll get you all kinds of answers. Thank you so much. I appreciate you doing this for me, really. Just know that I completely understand where you were coming from earlier, so I do want to ask that you invade his privacy no more than necessary. Is that fair? Perfect, though. I hope this turns out to be something that'll really make her happy. And that was the day Annalise agreed to accept the mayor's request, immediately and enthusiastically beginning her investigation. Naturally, she was very cautious not to make both Lila and her presumed partner suspicious in the process. Testimony 1. Those two certainly did come here, yes. I remember them sitting at the table over there having a pleasant conversation with one another. I couldn't tell you what they were talking about, I'm afraid. But I do remember seeing Lila smiling while talking, which you don't see every day with her. That struck me. Really now? Do you remember anything about the man, by the way? Not much in detail. That just that he was a well-groomed, seemingly pleasant young man. That's all I can say. That's about all I can say, I'm afraid. I see. Can I ask why you want to know all of this? Well, you see... Right, it's okay. You don't need to answer. They're in love, aren't they? It all makes sense now. She did very much look like a girl in love when she was talking to him, you know? So little Lila's finally ready to begin her journey into adulthood, is she? Aw, how sweet. Well, you don't know for sure yet, so please keep this to yourself, okay? Don't go telling any of the other customers and starting any rumors. Not to worry, the secret's safe with me. Testimony 2. Yes, I saw them. I remember the man escorting the maid to the front door of the mayor's mansion. I was surprised he didn't go inside with her, honestly. Whenever I take Mina home, I always do. Oh, Harry. If you ask me, you're the one behaving improperly, not the man we're talking about. I am? Ordinarily, when a gentleman escorts a lady to her home, he doesn't go inside. Really? Really? But surely the fact I do is that it's proof that we're close, right? I wouldn't be assuming that if I were you. For one thing, those two seemed awfully close even without that, didn't they? I'm not saying it's always wrong to go inside per se. If that's what you want to keep doing, you won't see me stopping you. Okay, I will then. Why does everything have to be so much work when it comes to you? Thanks for the info anyway. Testimony 3. You want to ask about a man who's been spending time with Lila lately? Thinking back, I did see her with a man when my husband and I went to the market. They were looking at souvenirs together, I believe. Haha, I remember it well too. I've rarely seen a more adoring pair in my life. It looked like they were a pair of newlyweds. Really? I wouldn't pay much attention to anything my husband says. He has a habit of exaggerating. I'm not ashamed of it either. These kinds of stories are always much more interesting with a touch of dramatic flair. It wasn't the first time I've seen the man, though. I'm sure I've met him before. But I can't for the life of me remember his name. Can you remember, dear? Don't be silly. Of course I remember. I would never forget the name of a man I've done good business with. That was young Leonard. Wait, I know that name. Leonard from the Kingfisher Inn? Oh, you know him already. Well, that puts a damper on my fun. I use that place for a lot of work reasons, so I even know him by face. I can't say I know all that much about him as a person, though. If you're well acquainted with him, would you tell me a bit more about him? I don't mind. This information isn't going to come cheap. You're going to charge me? Please, that's not funny, dear. We owe ever so much to the Bracer Guild. You can't threaten to charge a member. I won't have it. Sorry, but I just can't help myself to a good joke. Let's see. Well, he's a good, honest man for starters. Several days later. I see. So the man in question is Leonard from the Kingfisher Inn. I wonder how those two came to know each other. Oh, you know Leonard already? Bum 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 bum. Only by name I can't can't say I've ever spoken to him in person as such. The Kingfisher Inn has really made a name for itself in recent years. It's been doing quite well financially too, as things said it's a good target for investment. Trino said that too. I'm no expert on that kind of stuff though. Still, from what I can gather, based on your report, the relationship is a healthy one, and you seem to think very highly of Leonard. Oh, absolutely. Even his little sister, Sophina, is super sweet. I'd say you don't have anything to worry about with them. From what I've gathered, they'd make for a picture-perfect married couple. I'd like to believe that's still a while off. Then again, they really are dating. It's a reality I'll have to come to terms with sooner or later. Yeah, I'm happy for her, but at the same time I'm a little sad too. I get what you mean. Thank you very much for your report, Annalise. Sounds like she's made a fine choice. I suppose all I can do now is wait for her to share the truth with me herself. That sounds like a good plan. Speak of the devil. Miss Mabel, it's me, Lila. Could I have a little of your time? Oh, speak of the devil. Wonder if the time has finally come. That'd be one funny coincidence, but maybe it has. And if it has, then it's about time I made my exit. Wouldn't want to get in the way. Nonsense. I'd actually prefer if you stayed. If she does tell us what I expect her to, I don't intend to hide the truth of what I asked you to do. Oh, I see. Well, okay then. Miss Mabel? Oh, sorry, Lola. Come on in. As you wish. Oh, Miss Annalise. Please do accept my apologies. I didn't realize I was intruding. You're not. You're not. Don't mind me. I was just here to give my report on an investigation on behalf of the mayor. I see. So, what brings you here, Lola? Do you have something you want to talk to me about? You could say that, yes. I have an important request which I wish to make of you. Really now, what would it happen to be? Well, it concerns the Kingfisher Inn near Valeria Lake. Mate, we were right. Excuse me? Did you think I had no idea what was happening? I know everything there is to know. How could you possibly? I'm sorry, I actually had analysts here look into it for me. I was worried about you, you see? You've been behaving so strange lately. I'm sorry that I did it. I just couldn't help myself. I see. There's no need for you to apologize, however. I didn't mean to worry you. Perhaps I should have been more open from the start. Why is this so laggy? So, is Leonard being good to you? Damn, cut right to the chase, why don't you? He's a very kind man, yes. Why do you ask? That wasn't what I asked. What I was asking? Oh, you know what I mean, Lola. So, is there anything else you want to say on the matter? Well, yes. If it's alright with you, I'd like to get right to discussing the tape of the big day. Oh, there's definitely some context clues missing. Already? The big day? You've already started mapping it out? We have. We were hoping to keep it a secret for as long as possible in order to surprise you. Naturally, I've made sure everything fits into your schedule. Do I have your okay to begin making the necessary arrangements? Wowee. Is something wrong? What was that? You dummy! I can see why you might have wanted to surprise me, I can't. But did you really have to keep this from me until this late in the process? Oh, it's one of those miscommunication things. I forgot about that. I mean, you've got a right to your own private life, and you don't have to share everything in that with me. I'm not saying you have to, but I can't believe you would decide something so important without consulting me even once. Do I mean that little to you? Besides, you've only been going out for about a month. Aren't wedding bells at this stage a little premature? This decision is going to impact you for the rest of your life, Lila. You understand that, right? I think you should calm down and listen to what she has to say, Ma'am Maybell. I'm sure she does understand, and she has her own reasons for I have a horrible feeling that there is a very grave misunderstanding taking place here. You serious? Just what are we misunderstanding? The arrangements I have been making are for your next vacation. You've been so busy lately that I thought you really ought to have one, so I've been making the necessary arrangements in secret. What? You mentioned before that you would like to visit the famous Kingfisher Inn once, you see. So when Leonard needed to come to Bowes Market and do some shopping, we decided to use the chance to meet and discuss how to go about this. I hadn't realized my actions were causing so many problems for you. Whoopsie. I worry about you sometimes. Besides, I have no intention of getting married before a certain mistress of mine, which doesn't seem to be any time soon, since she makes a hobby of turning down countless marriage proposals in favor of devoting herself to work. It's not a hobby. It's because I have so much work on my plate that I don't have time for marriage to be on the brain. So there's nothing between you and Leonard, nothing at all. Everyone says you two have been getting along so well. I'll admit that he is a lovely man, and I have a very positive impression of him. But I've never considered him a potential partner. Not once. Why? All girls your age experience romance at least once. It wouldn't be right for you not to do the same. That isn't something I intended to come out and say, but it seems you leave me with no choice. Right now, the most important thing in my life is your happiness. I will put that over anything and everything else. Ensuring it is my greatest joy, my very reason for being. Until you have decided upon a partner to supplement that happiness, I have absolutely no intention of looking at anyone but you. I do appreciate you worrying about me. If it's my happiness you want, I ask that you focus on your own happiness first and foremost. And yet, like clockwork, I see you disregarding your well-being and taking on far more work than is humanly possible. Fine, fine, I get it. Now that we can put the whole marriage thing behind us, I will accept your offer of vacation. So feel free to proceed with your plan. I leave arranging the schedule to you. As you wish. Then, if you will permit me to excuse myself, I shall. Good day to you too, Miss Annalise. I'm really sorry. It looks like my research may have been a tad incomplete. Don't worry about it. I don't think anything was wrong with your report. All of this was due to me foolishly jumping to conclusions. I can't believe I ended up giving her yet another excuse to lecture me. Oh, that's no big deal. Gotta admit though, I am jealous. Jealous? You never heard that. Anyway, I'm sure I'll see you around. You two look great together. Oh. Oh, Annalise. Yeah, birthday. I feel almost ashamed to be this related over all this. I don't know if I'll ever be able to manage without her at my side. And then, Mayor Mabel and Lila eventually fell in love and got married. And we finished that side story as well. Woohoo! We're the best. Oh, we will get to start or 10. Bring to me the girl who plays with a giant doll. Whoever inside a trial awaits her. Let's go! Ever come to trial before you? Then blah 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 blah. Dang it. Yay. You have overcome the trial. Thus I shall grant you a memory fragment and my blessing. Loading. Complete. N810010-66 Pata Mata 13 Factories. Gordius Class Tactical Archaism Development Plan. Author 13 Factories. Codename Pata Mata. Plan Overview. We intend to develop a cutting-edge archaism that inherits the DNA of the rest of the Gordius series while containing a more advanced control system. It will retain the same tactical effectiveness that was the primary development goal of the previous models, while allowing for more flexible and precise strategic usage as well. Effective radius. The archaism is intended to be accessible across the whole continent. Powerful main and sub-engines should allow it to operate for several years without resupplying. Autonomous compatibility. The use of the Mars Integrated Orbital Arithmetic Logic Unit will allow for advanced autonomous combat and effective identifying of targets. In addition, the Archaism's control system will make use of the operator's nervous system, allowing for reflexive, instinctive movements in combat. The operator will communicate with the Archaism without being in physical contact with it. This will require a compatible candidate to be found and chosen. Dimensions. Height, weight. Overall height 15.5 arch. Unit weight 55 Taurum. 68 Taurum when fully armed. That's a heavy boy. 68 tons, metric tons. And 15.5 meters tall, which makes it about just shy of a 2-story tall building. Armaments. The Archaism's primary weaponry will be its Orbal energy cannons, but will have other kinds of Orbal weaponry and even several gun-powered weapons as backup. It will also have a revival system, which will use an augment to generate healing energy to heal or revive its operator in times of danger. Armor material. The armor plating will be made using a Curdaligon alloy. Curdaligon is the most fitting material to use, given that it is the most capable we have access to in all regards. For data regarding strength, see files on Gospel Plan. The possibility of using boosters to provide additional propulsion is under consideration. Actuators. Development of the actuators is experiencing significant difficulty, as it isn't possible to simply use the same ones as other archaisms. The increased size of the main weaponry means the archaism's weight during combat is significant, and as a result, problems have been occurring in the durability tests, especially with the leg joints. It may be possible to make improvements in this area by using precise control, so the weight burden is spread evenly rather than focused on one point. The Orbal energy cannons that will serve as its primary armaments have been successfully tested. However, by order of Professor Novartis, the possibility of them becoming twin mounts is being analysed, so they have yet to be equipped. The new Orbal engines are expected to be able to provide enough energy to compensate for the necessary increase in output. Control system. Experiments regarding the control system are currently ongoing. For the results of the experiments that have been carried out so far, see a separate entry. Experiment results. Tests of the control system continue to be performed. However, none of the test subjects have been able to realize the expected level of precision we are aiming for. The results of the main tests conducted by Professor Novatus and his team can be viewed above. Test subject, Subject A1, abnormality during Phase 2, comatose. Test subject, Subject B3, abnormality during Phase 3, cardiac arrest. Subject C1, abnormality during Phase 1, insanity. D7, Phase 2, comatose. E3, cardiac arrest, Phase 2. F2, comatose. G4, comatose. H1, comatose. Mental breakdown. I6, Phase 4. As can be seen, all of the test subjects failed to adapt to the control system. Nonetheless, the Society continues to supply test subjects, and we intend to keep performing further experiments. Future development. We have received word from the Society that development is to be temporarily frozen. The reasoning is that the stability of the control system is in question. From now on, only test subjects carefully chosen by the Society will be taking part in connection tests. In steps Ren. Test subject, Subject R3. Successfully completed all 4 testing phases. Note, the subject did experience a small degree of flashbacks. Succeeded in communicating with Pardamata. Ascertaining the Society's intentions in regards to resuming development. Subject R3 has succeeded in operating Pardamata. Ascertaining the Society's intentions in regards to resuming development. Side story, Gordius class experiment report finished. And then it was on the 5th point. I think it was here. Nope. Umbral midpoint. We go this way. And we go this way. Yep, this is not where... Oh, it is. Yeah, I didn't even need to do that. Right. Okay. Start or 11. Oh. Either we're gonna be finished with this in a few more days. Who knows, this might be the next game I finish this month. Open the door. I have become the child before you, then I shall grant you a memory fragment and my blessing. Hello, everybody. Let me do that. And we keep shooting and attack. Hey, Frana. Yeah. I've only got a couple of doors left. Yeah, I've got just... Once I finish this door, I've got 4 star doors left and the final sun door and then the final dungeon. How are you, Frana? You having a good day? Phantom Thief B. An investigative report on Phantom Thief B, his crimes, his history, and his true identity. Imperial Chronicle Investigative Team. Oh, yuck. Phantom Thief B has had quite the lengthy and productive career in thievery in the Empire, as the amount of records we have been able to find on his crimes proves beyond a doubt. From numerous paintings held in the Imperial Art Gallery, to a Septium crystal held in the Empire's customs warehouse, to even a cutting-edge tank held in an Imperial Army research facility. Nothing is truly safe when he desires to steal it. His conquests aren't limited to inanimate objects. He has been guilty of pretending to be a military officer and eloping with the wife of a Marquis on one reported occasion. Yet, and this is perhaps the most baffling part, there is no concrete evidence to suggest he has profited from his exploits. Rather, the objects stolen usually end up in places so bizarre their owners are liable to faint upon hearing about them. In other cases, they are transformed into mirror, which is then rained down from the sky in areas largely inhabited by those less fortunate. Hearing this, one might be led to think him a vigilante thief who takes from the rich and giving to the poor, but make no mistake, the truth is not so simple. The wife of the Marquis discussed earlier is a fine example of that. As of this writing, it has been little over half a year since the elopement took place. Since then, she has remained unaccounted for. Many of the items stolen by him may return to the public eye in some fashion, but not all. Between his eccentric techniques and bizarre behavior regarding the objects he steals, it might appear as though his thefts are purely whims and nothing else. Upon studying the overall picture and reviewing the objects, and indeed people in play, you begin to see that they all have one specific thing in common. Take the artworks stolen from the Imperial Art Gallery, for example. Each of them were works of pure genius, painted by a master of their craft, but they gained a reputation for being too complex for the target audience of such works, the nobility, and were shamefully stored away instead of placed on display. Similar could be said of the Septium crystal. Known for its unparalleled beauty, after being seized by customs, it was sealed away in the warehouse and doomed to never be admired by human eyes again. The tank, again, is one more example, with its promising development cut short. Rather than be put to good use, it was left collecting dust. As an aside, the case of the Marquis' wife does contain some striking similarities. Despite marrying her, he devoted most of his attention to his concubines and barely spared a thought for her. In conclusion, we can see now that the underlying motive for his actions is finding objects of beauty that have been abandoned by the world and freeing them from their foolish owners. No matter how the world may see his crimes, his motive is clear. The truth of that is evident in the cards he leaves before committing his crimes. This so-called liberation of beauty mentioned upon each of them. Phantom Thief B steals not for money, but for an ideal he believes in. And it is in this fact, we believe, are clues to his true identity. A valid number of theories have come about on the face of behind our famed thief. Unfortunately, they are all as lacking in conclusive proof as they are numerous, and so it is impossible to say whether any of them are actually correct. To complicate matters further, we now even have deranged individuals coming forward pretending to be him and allowing themselves to be captured by law enforcement. That is not to say, however, that none of the theories circulating are at all plausible. Here we will introduce 3 such theories which have developed significant followings and may not turn out to be too far from the truth. Theory 1. Amorous con artist X. X's personal history. X is known for his exceptional skill as a con artist, having faked his own identity in order to engage in romantic relationships with many noblewomen. He was as handsome as he was capable, and he was exceptionally proud in nature as well. Born to a poor family in the temperate south, he became used to stealing in order to make ends meet from a young age. According to testimony from a companion of his at the time, he was never once caught for such thefts. The reason X converted from being a common thief to a con artist is believed to have stemmed from falling in love with a noble woman of a much higher social standing than he. The rule of the aristocracy was absolute in the country he called home, and blessed romances between those of different classes are unthinkable. With that in mind, he resolved to create a false identity in order to make his dream possible. Following his first rousing success, he came to do the same on a myriad of other occasions, indulging in one forbidden affair after another. It was a mere 10 years ago that he was arrested on suspicion of identity fraud, but he performed a miraculous escape from prison. Ever since then, his whereabouts have remained unknown. Thoughts? Both X's peerless skills as a thief and his interest in forbidden romances with noblewomen sound remarkably like what we know of Phantom Thief B. Also worth noting is that despite using his abilities of deception to court those of vast wealth, he displayed virtually no interest in their fortunes. That is to say, he gained no financial benefit from his actions whatsoever. Instead, he simply lamented that he was unable to indulge in them because of something as trivial as his social class. We conclude that this attitude bears a striking resemblance to the thief's own views on beauty. Theory 2. Tragic artist Y. Y's personal history. Y was an artist with a rather tragic past. Born to a middle-class family in the north, he was hired by an influential aristocrat to be their personal artist, producing many a stunning piece of work. However, it was later discovered that that wasn't all he produced. On the contrary, he was also responsible for a number of counterfeit pieces. The one who hired him sought to profit through ill means thanks to his work, so he created such counterfeits under the noble's instructions. One day, however, Y suddenly left the noble's service. The reason remains unknown. This is where his tragedy begins. Immediately after leaving his client behind, Y received a piece of terrible news. His lover, the daughter of a respected family, had been killed in a traffic accident. While there is no evidence to prove as much, it is rumoured that the noble may have had a hand in her death. Y was only spotted once more at his lover's grave before disappearing from the public eye. Those who knew his story, he became known as the truly tragic artist. Several years later, something. Thoughts. The story of Y still has several unsolved mysteries surrounding it and has invited much speculation, both of which have likely led to the theory that he and Phantom Thief B are the one and the same. Those aren't the only reasons, naturally. Phantom Thief B has been known at times to try and dispose of counterfeits, believing them to be false beauty. This has led to some to believe that Phantom Thief B may be attempting to rid the world of counterfeits that he himself created. Lending further credibility to this is the discovery that the forgeries disposed of by Phantom Thief B were indeed the works of Y. Skilled martial artist Z. The story of Z is significantly different from the other two potential identities we have proposed here, making this an unusual, but still plausible, possibility. Z was born in the Far East as the son of a famed military family. He was an attractive, delicately built young man, but he was far more skilled at martial arts than his frame would have suggested, being blessed with great natural talent. He is also said to possess a keen, sharp mind, and there was a mild air of arrogance about him too. Z was indeed blessed in nearly every way. He came from an important family, he had skill, he had looks, and as a result, he came to feel bored with the world around him. He hardly kept such thoughts to himself. In fact, he often voiced his complaints to anyone within earshot. These complaints persisted until one day he simply disappeared, telling no one where he was going and leaving nothing to suggest his next destination. Thoughts. Much of this theory is based on an idea of geniuses being eccentric by nature. There are some who say that the fighting style of Z has some resemblance to the peculiar skills used by Phantom Thief B. But in terms of credibility, this theory is barely a cut above many other and similarly unusual suggestions. Still, the idea that the man behind the mask is one from the East is certainly an interesting and exciting one, leading many to wish it were true, even if they find themselves doubting it actually is. Who is Phantom Thief B? That brings us to the end of outlining three very different theories. Could X, Y, or Z be the true identity of our famed Phantom Thief? Or is the truth perhaps something else entirely? The only way we'll know for sure is to hear the truth from the man himself. Of course, whether we can trust anything he says is a discussion for another time. Postscript. After this article was first published, we received a card believed to be from Phantom Thief B himself at our office. The contents of the card are as follows. The truth of my identity is already within your grasp. My number reveals all. Judging by this, it is believed that one of the 3 theories proposed is the true identity of Phantom Thief B. That said, uncovering the meaning behind his words has proven to be a trying task. Will one valued reader be able to step forward and solve what we cannot? Only time will tell. Person X. Here's number 10. Written in Roman numerals, that's an X. Alright, I have enough time to do one more door. Let's do Star Door 12. Let's go, friends. Open the door. I shall grant you a memory fragment and my blessing. R&A Research Ruin Office. Oh my, look at all of this. I hope it will prove useful. I see. You sure found out a lot. With this many potential sales reps, I've got nothing to fear. I'll be able to make my move into the Erebonian capital as soon as I'm ready with this kind of information. You asked us to investigate the current situation in regards to orbment sales in Erebonia, so I centered my investigation around stores in the region itself. And you did a fantastic job too. Still, the problem of transport remains. After all, old Borden's got his grubby hands all over the international liners already. That's true. It's true that the Borden family has preferential access to 40% of the load capacity of international airliners leaving Ilibol for Erebonia. However, they are no longer the only available option. There are now private carriers as well. Here are some supplementary materials regarding that issue. Right, you certainly come prepared, don't you? Well, this request ended up taking a little longer than originally anticipated. Consider this a little extra on us in exchange. I like those who think 2 steps ahead. You sure you don't want to come and work for me? I'd pay you handsomely. I'm certainly flattered you think highly enough of my skills to offer. I'm not sure I have what it takes to be successful in the cutthroat world of business, though. I'm rather a timid man, you see. Come now, you can't fool me. Oh well, do keep my offer in mind, if you would. Please, allow us to escort you out. Oh, since I have you here, maybe I should give you one more thing to look into. I've already had Simon get started, but I'm not sure he's up to the task. I'd be happy to help if you can. Help you if I can. Will this be another request to research a foreign market? Certainly will. Oh, look what you've got over there. Perfect. This place right here. Ord State? That's an unusual choice. It's quite a small place. That just makes it easier to squeeze a majority in the market. Small as it is, It's not like it isn't accessible by airliner, and what market there may be is all but free for the taking right now. So you want us to research the potential size of the market there, in other words. Shall we focus entirely on augment market or broaden the scope of our investigation and look into market in general? The market in general. Do you think you can do it? With ease. I'll get in touch with one of our staff members stationed near the state right away and begin weighing options. That's what I wanted to hear. I'll be back here next week anyway. We can discuss the details then. Ta-ta. Until then. Take care. Ored's quite far inland. Weren't the Rains brothers in that general area of the continent? Yes, they are. I'll get in contact with them later. Thank you. She's not a merchant of bows for nothing, is she? She was coming in with such interesting, ambitious requests. She's not as half as ambitious as you are. I think you may be overestimating me a little there. Can you show our next visitor in? Certainly. Hello there, Ellen. Sorry for dropping in on you again. I just wanted to get your input on another little something regarding the city's finances. Huh? That won't be a bother at all. Please, take a seat. So what exactly can I help you with today? All seems to be going rather well with this business now, don't you think? Indeed. Although, I admit that it's taking me time to adjust to my days to being so peaceful. I do miss having a sense of tension in my life. That's something you'll just have to live with, I'm afraid. We're civilians now, not soldiers. That's true enough. In any case, it's an honor to be able to live and work with you in the city where you were born, Your Excellency. Kanan. I really would prefer it if you addressed me as Sir now. My apologies, sir. There's no need to apologize. Oh no, it's raining. Well, I think we should probably go inside. Not sure I like the look of the sky. And it's raining. It couldn't be. Sir, is something the matter? It's nothing of much importance. Just noticed we seem to have mistakenly received another letter intended for the mayor. It's understandable that it keeps happening given this building was previously his. But it is a tad troublesome nonetheless. I suppose I better go and deliver it to him. It could be something important. Now, sir? Couldn't it wait? Seems like it's going to start raining any minute. It's not too far. Even if it does start raining, I won't be exposed to it for long. Could I ask you to handle the regular reports in the meantime? Yes, of course. Dun, 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 dun. Ugh. There's no mistaking it. And there's the rain. That letter was sealed in a special way we used in the intelligence division. The letter itself is a meaningless decoy. The real message is concealed in how the envelope itself is sealed. It means, come to the landing port. Someone from the intelligence division is calling me in hopes of speaking to me. Most likely because they bear a deep-seated resentment towards me and what I did to them. And I have a duty to go and see them. After all, I was the commander. I was the one who pushed their life off the rails and ruined their future. I've been waiting for you. So it was you, Cinder. Indeed. It's good to see you again, Colonel. I'm pleased to see you're still well. Not a colonel anymore, Cinder. Though I feel as though saying as much has become a hobby. No one around me seems to be willing to correct themselves. Oh, I'm aware. But today I intend to address you as Colonel nonetheless. I called you here because I have something I need to ask you. Hope you can forgive me for forcing you to come out here with the weather so poor. If I can answer your questions, I will. Don't feel as if you need to hold back on my account. If you can't accept something in the answer I give you, then by all means say so. Then I'll get straight to the point. Why did you leave the army behind, Colonel? Because he was kicked out of it? What happened to your love for your country? I see you, at least, returned to the military. I was relieved to see that, in truth. You were always an exceptionally capable soldier, even back in the military academy. If you hadn't had the misfortune of meeting me, if you hadn't had the misfortune of being caught up in my foolishness, you'd probably be a field officer by now. I'm truly sorry about what I did to you. Oh, please don't get me wrong, Colonel. I don't in any way blame you, or harbour resentment for what you did. You thought about what was best for this country more than anyone else I know. Your patriotism was genuine and heartfelt. I don't regret following you at all. I'm honoured that I could. It's certainly true that doing so has become a significant obstacle in my chances of promotion, but I couldn't care less about that. As long as I continue to serve in the military, to serve the country I love with all my heart, I'm happy. Know that I harbour no ill feelings toward you regarding the past. But what are you doing now? You used to worry for this country's future more than any of us. You cared for it more than any other. Yet instead of picking yourself up and trying to work for your nation again, you left the army behind. And now you're running some sort of company that deals with the rich? Just what happened to your patriotism? I beg of you, return to the military. You're a capable man. Those skills of yours would be a valuable asset to the force, and it's where you should be using them. I'm sorry, Cinder. I cannot ever return to the army again. Why? Why, Colonel? You've repented more than enough for your actions. Both General Morgan and Brigadier General Bright actively desire your return, and I and all the other soldiers in my position would be overjoyed to have you in our ranks again. So why? Why do you look at me with that sad expression and tell me that it's not possible? Why would you apologize to me? Make no mistake, Cinder. I haven't abandoned my love for my country. It burns as brightly in my heart as it ever did. But what I did was truly terrible. I organized a coup d'etat, destabilizing this nation and disrupting the lives of countless people. Thanks to the help of all those around me, I was able to realize what a foolish mistake I made. And yet, in my heart, I feel exactly the same way I always did. I'm not sure what you mean. In spite of all that happened, my love for my country remains unchanged. I still feel the blind desire to do anything I can to aid Libel, no matter how reckless or dangerous it may be. I'm the same man I was when I plotted that coup d'etat. Not a thing has changed. That thought, Cinder, terrifies me. Then you didn't leave the military because you had lost your love for your country. You saying that you left it because you still love your country? Forgive me. I have no right to be making excuses to you and trying to justify myself. Not after I dragged you all down with me and ruined your lives forever. I am truly sorry for what I did to you and all of the other members of the division. Please don't misunderstand. I didn't leave the army in an attempt to run away from... in an attempt to run from my own weakness. Nor did I leave it because I was ashamed of the treatment I received for my actions. After what happened, I thought long and hard about what I should have done instead of what I did. trying to work out where I'd gone wrong. As I did that, I noticed something. Something vitally important that I had failed to realize up until that point. After setting up the intelligence division, I began gathering information and using it to protect Libel. Yet thinking about it now, I didn't know the first thing about the nature of information at the time. Information isn't something that exists alone. It only exists when people use it and see it as something of worth. Furthermore, the value of that information can change radically depending on the position and perspective of those who look at it. I can't help but wonder if overlooking this simple fact was what caused my patriotism to start to become more of a force for harm than good. Somewhere along the line, I started to believe that the only information I saw as valuable was of any importance. As a result, I ended up wanting power in order to compensate for the weakness of my own heart. Thinking back, I think what I really needed was a different perspective through which to view information, one separate from the military. One that doesn't see a country or a people's way of life as a system, or as numbers and absolutes. I needed to be collecting information that was disadvantageous to Libel too, rather than cast it all aside. I needed to view us and the surrounding nations in a variety of lights, while collecting a wide variety of information from a freer perspective. So, you believe the company you're running now is capable of doing that? Yes, I do. I can't say for sure this will allow me to avoid repeating my past mistakes. Perhaps there was something more important that I should have been doing before giving thought to any of this to begin with. But in the end, I came to the conclusion that Libel needs a fresh perspective, and then I resolved to leave the army. If it needs a means to gather intel, it can make another intelligence division. That is for Brigadier General Bright to worry about, not me. Still, the civilian population has no such group or organization. It's never had one. I doubt anyone in the civilian world has ever thought to create one in order to gather and accurately analyze information either. That was why I, as a civilian like every other, chose to establish R&A research. Believing that I am the right person to be the first to do so. You truly don't have any intention of returning to the military, do you? If I said there wasn't a part of me that longed to return to my days of active service, I would be lying. But I'm hoping that through this, I will be able to become another eye by which to support this nation. And I see my current occupation as a new way to show my love for my country. I wonder if that makes any sense. You're a coward. No doubt every word of your saying is objectively correct. That's how you've always been. There's never been room for rebuttal in your arguments. But Colonel, you're also no longer the man who swore to forge this kingdom's future with his own two hands. But goodbye, Colonel. We will never meet again. The problem with hero worship. That's not true. That's not true at all, Sender. I've chosen the path I now walk, believing it to be right, certainly. But even I don't know for sure if what I'm doing is correct. Even now, I'm terrified of the possibility that I might be making the wrong choice. I worry that the road I walk might be the makings of yet another grave mistake. I just don't have the same power that Brigadier General Bright does. I really am hopeless. Sir? You didn't have to come out here in the rain. We should return to the office. You'll catch a cold staying out here much longer. I'm sure he's just having trouble coming to terms with his new life too. He can't just forget the fervent enthusiasm of the Intelligence Division, as if he doesn't feel like he belongs in the world that's come after it. The day will eventually come when he will be able to understand what you said. That's exactly what happened to me, you know? True enough, I suppose. You're right. Shall we be going then, Canone? Yes, sir. Ooh. I wasn't expecting to end up quite this soaked. You alright? I'm fine. Don't worry about me. This actually brings back fond memories of the survival training I underwent back at the academy. I don't think you should go and get changed into some dry clothes though, sir. Will the rain never hurt anyone? I don't believe I was half bad at my own survival training, you know. Even then. An encrypted call? Dylan did mention that he had some information of interest in his report earlier. Perhaps this relates to that. Seems possible. Which would mean that something has happened over in the Republic. Yes, it's me. Can you please stop calling me that? Yes, that's right. Yes, in the Eastern Quarter. We don't have anyone there yet, thinking about it. Alright, I'll look into it as best I can. Right, you be careful too. Has something happened? Nedler Jaeger Corps has entered the Eastern Quarter. Sizable one too. A red constellation. Oh no. Really? There seems to be a rather lot of activity on the Jaeger front of late. Their arrival makes it very likely that the power struggle there will begin to worsen too. I doubt the old Intelligence Division network is going to be sufficient to fully stay on top of the situation. I think I may have to head over there personally. Oh. Huh. I still have doubts about what I'm doing. Nothing about my love for my country has changed. Nothing at all. So is it even possible for me to find and walk the right path this time? Is it truly possible for any mortal to forge the correct path through life? I don't know, but all I can do is try to follow the path I believe to be right, in hopes that I'm not mistaken. Believing in those who have supported me, and work to right my wrongs. Sir? Is something wrong, sir? Oh, you're here, Kenon. I did tell you that you didn't need to come and see me off, you know. You did, but I'm afraid that simply won't do. Seeing off their superiors is the duty of a subordinate. Perhaps in the military, but that is no longer the world we live in. There's no need to act like a soldier anymore. Oh, and one more thing. Please do take good care of things in the office while I'm gone. I think the odds of any large requests you'll struggle to handle without me coming in are fairly low at least, but leave everything to me, sir. And we'll be sure to handle every request that comes in with care and kindness. I'm well aware you always look forward to taking on small requests too, so they will be given the same high standard of service as any other. You know me too well. But here comes Cecilia, I believe. Hey, it's Sieg. What on earth is Julius Bird doing here? Scree. Don't just sit on His Excellency's arm as if it's your own personal property. Grah. Scree? Please, Canine. There's no need to glare at him like that. Also, please stop calling me Your Excellency. Scree. Richard then noticed that there was a note attached to Sieg's leg. What's this? It's addressed to me. Scree. Richard took the memo from Sieg's leg. This looks like a letter from HQ? As in military HQ. Why is the Royal Guards carrier Falcon bringing a message to you? Who knows? Its rider is a real slave driver, you know. Thank you for delivering this, Sieg. Let him know that I accept his request. Scree. Sir? Was it? See for yourself. Best of luck with your little trip. We'd like to know what the Red Constellation is up to too, so we'd appreciate you looking into it for us on the side. Honestly. I hope you don't think this information is going to come cheap, Brigadier General. As he is 5 steps ahead of everybody as well. I accept your request. Finished. Alright. So we've got 4 doors left. So our next door will be Star Door 13. Alrighty. However, that's going to be it from me. Alright, everybody. Thank you all for joining me today. Hope you all had a good time. If you are new here, feel free to follow and stuff. I'll be back on later tonight. Back on in about 3-ish hours with Rune Factory 3. And yeah, if do that as well. I've got a YouTube channel where I upload all the VODs, so you can catch up or see what else I've played played while streaming. I also have a Discord server that people are welcome to join, hang out, chat, whatever. And if you, I have my schedule here. You can have a look at when and what I'm streaming. Discord server also has all that information as well. Yeah. So see you, Frana. I'm gonna go raid somebody. Let's see who's playing what. Is anybody playing Trails? Important question. Sky second chapter. Trails from Zero. Cold Steel. Yep, we've got some Cold Steel going on. Who's playing what? Actually, Ayuden. I saw some people playing Ayuden. You seem cool, maybe. Alright, we're gonna go say hi to some of the people that were actually following. Let's say hi to him. Alright, thank you everyone for joining me, and I will see you all later. I will be back on again in about 3 hours. Until then, take care of yourselves, and I will be back with Trails in the Sky the 3rd tomorrow. We'll do the last of the doors, and then we'll start the endgame stuff. Yeah. Bye, everybody.